Hello there, local JB here. I want to talk about mages specifically on top lane. I reached master on this account by mainly playing mages on top lane. Now note that I before used to be challenger and I did be grandmaster this year, of course. So let's get just straight up into it. It's really nice if you have some AD picks on top lane because it can get awkward when your team has 4 AP champions. Just to be clear, you will see some Yone games as well here and there because some games otherwise your team will be just too heavy on AP. Right? For example, in here, 4 AP, that's just awkward. So, let's just get straight up to it. Why did I even start playing mages on top lane? I had actually an old memory where someone played Orianna top into me. He didn't know how to play Orianna, it just gave me an idea. Besides of that, I was like, well, Orianna and Syndra is so strong in these days, especially on mid lane, right? I was like, what if we just play them on top lane? I mean, on top lane they have good kite ability. They have decent poke, they can take plates down, they can take CS advantages, and they more than often scale also way better than the enemy top laner, so why wouldn't I play it? Then I decided, well, let's do a master run, right? I played Syndra, Orianna, Swain, Lux top lane, all of them are top lane, none of them are mid lane. Lux. I scroll downwards, we go even more down, even more Orianna games. Um, from the other hand, we scroll down, even more Swain games, Ari games. I played so many mages on the play, right? Leblanc games. It's unreal, right? There's so many mages, right? So generally speaking, these are my win rates as well as you guys can see. These are overall decent win rates. I played. These are the general champs I played. Even Ari is just not bad. Just have a 0 win rate on her, of course. So let's get straight up to it. So, how does even a Orianna top play look like, for example? That's the most played champion I went for, right? She's great. But why is she great? She's a bit OP because her ball can reveal bushes. That doesn't sound a bit so broken for some people, but on top lane it's quite strong because compared to mid lane, mid laners don't really go to these bushes. They don't go inside of these bushes and camp there usually. They often play in lane, but on top lane, how ranged top laners play, they want to reveal usually bushes, but if they give up a ward, they are more prone to a possible gank. But as Orianna, you don't have to do that because your ball already reveals a bush. So bush is not being able to be a safe place is a very big thing because your Q provides you permanent vision in bushes until your ball is inside of it. That's a bit insane, right? Now from the other hand, you can get early game oriented runes such as approach velocity. It will allow you to swing in some extra basic attack with the help of your W slow. Really good spacing and sidestepping power. Early game runes mainly you're gonna take area against champions that have mobility and they will dodge your combat, otherwise just go combat. Or if you get to basic attack quite a lot in a certain matchup, then of course go 80. But guys, aim to pretty much just like go for first, like in cases where the enemy champion is quite bullet spongy like Mundo. And these are your general subsequent runes as well. So let's get straight up to it. So how does Orianna top look like? So obviously you will take a level 2 advantage into most of the top laners. You can get level 2 really easily because you're ranged. In here she didn't even have prio, of course. And so what's gonna happen when they try to last it? You poke the shit out of them. Now that's awkward, right? She just stepped up for 1 CS. And note, they won't even have runes into you because more than often they will take accidentally armor and bomb plating because they think an AD champion will be against them, which means their runes will be incorrect, which sucks because if you genuinely if you don't have correct runes into Orianna like second wind, you're gonna suffer. That's all I'm gonna say. And in here you zone as much as, but they can't even step up to CS. Now in there I missed a little bit, which was a mistake on my part. I used my Q a bit too early. Which I didn't imagine this Alawi will just randomly turn on me. I thought she's gonna just run away. Another miss, so mistakes will happen, but don't worry. It doesn't even matter all that much. Look at the pokes. You see the pokes. Now in here note I placed 2 points in my W because you have more poking power as if you would have a more point in your E. So I kinda like it a little bit more. Especially into like very short range enemies, I like to have some points in my W, like 2 points, but ideally you should have 3 points in Q, 10 max W. But she has very short auto range, so it helps a lot to into her. Now in here what happens? She wants to last it. Now ideally you'll be able to all in her because of the approach velocity mobility, even though you're not under your W's influence. But also when you reach your W, you're gonna get even more speed, right? And in here there I messed that up. I could then swing in one extra basic attack, so that was a little bit of a mistake on my part. I W in, I all in her, so even though I had slight micro mistakes here and there, we still got her. So that's why I've been telling people, like, you don't need to play perfectly to kill your opponent. That's the good thing about these range mages on top lane. Like, I had mistakes here and there. You don't even need to play perfectly, right? Okay. So what's your first recall? Usually you need to buy ideally tier. If you cannot buy a whole Lost chapter, I would say just get tier. Ideally. So you can stack it up for your Archangel stuff, of course. God damn. A pity today. Now in here again, matchup goes on. We have even more mana to do what? Poke. To poke. Because a lot of champions, like this type of champs like Alawi, Darius, Garen, generic top laners, they cannot do much about your pokes. You poke, you disengage, and they cannot do much about it. She hit me there, but it doesn't really matter because I just walk out of it and I'm also ranged. So in here I just allow her pretty much to push before we potentially get collapsed on by the enemy jungle, or just she has a big wave, so it's not really worth risking anything, right? I W her. So like often top laners won't even know what your ball does, unironically. I'm being genuine when I say that. And so this is what happens when she's, of course, greeding for plates. Again, note that people are heavily punished, right? People are heavily punished for last hitting. So imagine that there is a champion like Orianna. She does a decent amount of QW damage, and then her passive does quite a lot of DPS as well, right? Now in there, unfortunately, she hit me, but it doesn't really matter because she's too low to kill me, so she still had a decent amount of damage, I'm gonna be real, but she was too low to kill me there. So it's usually how it goes on Orianna. You poke until you get to all in, and that's like the very simple logic of Orianna. You poke until you all in, and that's what you do. Poke space until you all in, and that's what you do continuously. So even matchups that are normally annoying for some melee champs, like you know, if you play your Garen into Allow, it must be kind of annoying. If you play if you play an Orianna, suddenly it's just not that unfun anymore, the matchup, right? Then so what happens later on, there will be some fights, right? Here and there will be some fights. For example, in here, Kindred is going in. Now what you should do, if there is a melee champion, you can hit a really easy E ultimate on the enemy champion, so don't be scared of skirmishes. At level 6 you're very strong actually. You're actually very strong as Orianna, even though you're scaling oriented, so don't be scared of potential skirmishes with your jungle. This looks scary for some people, but don't be scared. Don't be scared at all. Because you're gonna get one kill, right? Then you're gonna punish the greediness of the enemy Nocturne. Watch. You just space them. You just space them. You press W, and your own KS is my kill. Normally, you can press W. You can step up, you know, and you can last hit him, but Yon just decided to help me to kill the enemy Nocturne, right? Now, let's skip forward. We kill again Alawi. What happens? She gets poked down and she gets all in. Simple logic, right? In here now, arguably, I get ganked by Kindred. She got the mark, but it wouldn't really matter, honestly. She would just die anyways here. She just gets absolutely wiped. And at this point, she's even more depressed. A lot of top laners just leave top lane because they can't really lane into Orianna at this point anymore. The issue is that Alawi can't even roam. So that's the fucky thing about like some champions on top lane. Champions that can't really match Orianna, usually they are very bad at roaming as well. So generally speaking, after you have a CS advantage, you can take plates, of course, you can help your jungle, whatever you want to. But at this point, you're actually very, very strong. And basically you should aim to like just pressure as much as possible, honestly. Now in the Nocturne is looking to ult me, Nocturne is looking to ult the, of course, Herald. But she chooses to ult me. Now does it really matter? It doesn't matter, because usually they W early on, they don't W your ult. Don't ask why, but this happens every time, even in Master Plus. And so what you should do is really simple. Just ult him back and you escape. So even if you don't have phase rush, you're quite good at escaping ganks. But again, like, you should force as much as possible. You should counter-attack as much as possible. So Orianna is quite a lot about counter-attacking, right? In here we can visually see that Nocturne is still there, gets ulted, and what happens? I pick him up. I W, I E, and then we also pick up the Alawi, right? That's easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay, now let's move on. Now what happens in here? The tower gets soon destroyed, very soon. Which at the end of the day will mean that what do we do after it? What do we do after we got our first tower? We can look for potential roams. So until the tower is up, we want to stay in lane. That's your very simple goal. Now in here, I'm overstaying a little bit, right? I already got my items, but I can stay for the wave. That's totally fine. Now, can Alawi actually deal with me? No. She can't. She wants to force something in here, like a dive, but she she genuinely can't. She wants to, but she can't. Now that's fine, life goes on, and so what happens in here is quite simple. I just pretty much like shove the wave, recall, I don't want to risk dying. And we have Ludens and we have Boots, which is quite insane. Because now she cannot do anything. Not a damn thing. Now we recalled, we brought our burst damage items, and let's move on to laning phase. Now what happens in here against Alawi? It's quite simple. At this point she cannot do much. At this point she cannot do much, sadly. So watch what happens in here. We, of course, every time should destroy her tentacles ASAP. They give gold, and also they give you better trades because she can't utilize her tentacles, right? And in here it's very simple what happens. She gets pressured even under tower. I miss a little bit my Q, but my W still connects. And does it matter? It doesn't. So even though it looks like it's a misplay, it's not, because I shield myself. And I'm way above her, so it doesn't even matter if she is me under tower. It just doesn't. There I got caught a little bit, of course, but it shouldn't be concerning. She gets W, she gets ulted, she gets Eden. We wait, so always wait for your Q, right? I was a bit impatient, of course, but you should always like QW and don't use it too early. My mistake there was quite simple, actually. I didn't wait for my W and I Q too early, so make sure you don't fall for the same mistake. Now, of course, I'm still gonna kill her, but it's like I took like 2 extra tower shots, right? So it's not the same, right? And if you kill her without this much amount of effort. Now, let's skip. We got the first tower. What the hell do we do after? It's very simple. You actually don't go top anymore because you're way more prone to possible ganks. You wanna play for plates, place. You have engagers in your team, like a Yone, right? So that's what we are generally looking for. Mainly, we wanna leave top lane ASAP. Now, in here, what will happen is quite simple. I still walk back to top lane. Now, why do I even walk back to top lane? Now, plates expired, so depends how quickly I can crack the top tower. If plates are not up, I prefer to clear my wave and kill Alawi again. And especially if your opponent is inting, you can go Dark Seal. This game I forgot to buy Dark Seal. But if your opponent is clearly just inting, just go Dark Seal 100%. You can buy Magi's as well later on. But yeah, like, right now, Alawi is just a kill dispenser. So that's why I'm pretty much just sitting on the bot side of the map. Top side, my bad. I looked at bot lane. And right now I think I was just like picking up the wave. I think I was just pretty much picking up the wave, and I was talking all the time to my chat, actually. I was talking all the time to my YouTube chat. I was confused. Why did I... I thought in here Kindred gets ulted, so I walked towards her, of course. Quite simple, but let's move on. And we can visually see that they Alawi, right? Alawi itself cannot do much right now into me. So I get to actually push the tower in front of her, and she can't contest it. Otherwise, she's gonna get hard poked, right? Now in here sadly I get ganked, so I have to watch out for that, right? I had to flash away, of course, from her EQ. That's fine. I just leave the situation, I leave the area. And let's move on. In here I think they just FF at 15, so this game is just quite easy. There's basically FF at 15. Um, she gets ulted, and then she cannot do much at this point. The issue is, it's not only that I hard stomped her in lane, I'm also scaling better, so she doesn't really get to scale into this game at all. So that's just like very awkward for her. And in here I'm just pretty much just greeting. I'm not sure, I think I was talking all the time to my chat and I was a bit on the autopilot. Normally this is a bit of a greedy positioning to have. I was greeting, I think, for what exactly? I think for my item I wanted to buy Archangel ASAP because it's a big spike, I assume. Yeah, I think that was my thought process. So that's it for the Orianna gameplay. I'm gonna show you guys some other Syndra gameplay as well, of course. Just give me a second. After actually some digging, I found the Leblanc gameplay as well. These are older a little bit because basically I played like in the. It's not bad, you know. Like I just played it previously, you know, like I cycled in between champs. So I can see I hit my chains, you know. Space routines a bit. I should have go in there with my W, but I hinted a little bit. I messed up my all in. And important to like look at your replays and sort of see what very good and all in, very couldn't. Because I think I was kind of a beginner at Leblanc top. I was at the F2 stage. And I hinted my ass off as well. Did I? Sort of. But sort of because he flashed and I flashed. And look who lost a lot of HP. Not me. And the push is also, the wave is also pushing towards me, I mean. So that's actually a big positive for us, right? We also we wanted to buy refillable, then we decided to buy what? I think mana? Yeah, mana, a little bit of mana. And in here we are just contesting the push, I think. I was contesting if I remember correctly. Just W in, of course, get a short, we get money offer, right? First like money. Let's go. Sadly she pushes the waving, then it's too overwhelmingly big for me to hold it, so I'm not even trying, honestly. Oh, do I? You know, guys, just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I was holding the wave, getting a short trade into her. Even more money out of first strike, guys. Even more money. So your mind is on your money. When you play first strike, and then she's basically dead. It doesn't matter. Like her shield doesn't even matter because it doesn't work into your basic attacks. And your wave clear is not that bad actually. If you go mini and dematerializer, I think I didn't go for it, but it helps you if you're sort of even. But yeah, it's not that bad even if you don't go for it. It's just a bit smoother. Now, of course, we got those chapter, you know, perfect. Insane Rika, she doesn't have much on her, of course. I was even tabbing. And let's see, like this is like a bit more so skill oriented matchups. Like you gotta know how to play the matchup, of course, like correctly, right? Let's see what happens in here. She's 5, I'm 6, I'm just all in her. I messed up my chain, I didn't Q either from my ult, so that was a bit of a mess up. I was just delighting at the beginning phase of this Leblanc top thing, right? Because a lot it has to do about your fundamentals, you know, game knowledge, rune knowledge, build knowledge, everything, you know. And of course your skill does matter, but we can see like in so many case scenarios, like our skill did matter, but a lot that had to do with our game knowledge as well, right? So the whole game is just not all about like how likely am I gonna just blink away from a Camille or something, right? A lot more it has to do about your wave, like wave management is really important to freeze, because as a mage under tower you're ranged, you get to poke a Garen and Camille, right? Meantime, they can't all in you, because some champs like Garen and Camille, they don't short trade all that much into mages, they prefer to all in. And they can't really, I mean, maybe I guess Camille can hit a W, but you just all in her, so it's not really worth for her. But they can't really get on top of you because of the tower, so it's like a very awkward spot for them, right? And even in there, she gets just short traded into. She just gets short traded. I even wait in case she like ease me, which she shouldn't. So I can W back, so I'm not even punishable. That's how disgusting, like, some mages can be on top lane, right? I got even a Q on her, another Q on her, and then I think I Q. I think I look for an all in here, no? If I don't mess it up. I tried to predict a E. I did get an E on her. I think I get another Q and then a W or something. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just zoning, I guess. I guess I'm just zoning. I tried to get another Q in, but I got turbo minion block there, which kind of sucked a little. But basically, like, this Camille cannot do much right now. Basically, the game is just like slowly like bleeding, because it's like slowly bleeding out in here in game, because he's losing plates, he's losing CS, he can't even step up to last hit. I'm farming first, I gold of her, so she's pretty much dead. In here I did go for an Indo. No, yes, no, yes. Let's see if I int. Yeah, I didn't. I gave up my dashes for no reason till I die. But it's fine, because at least we got a short trade into her. And I think she will overstay, and then when it's my turn to kill her, then she just dies. I think she won't have ult. I will have my ult. Because remember, like Camille's Q is way longer than yours. So like your ult has shit low cooldown. So if you like ever trade like a Leblanc ult for a K ult, that's totally worth. If you don't die, if you don't die, preferably. The thing, like, you can trade ultimates really easily. This has like a 33 seconds cooldown, right? Right now in the game. And ping off, of course, I didn't assess, I could ban, of course. The enemy Leblanc, I'm warding, and now it's quite simple what happens. I just queue in, I dash in, she tries to force an all-in for no reason, because I have ult, she doesn't. So she doesn't respect that, she dies. She just dies, there's not much to say, she had R. No, she didn't have R, I had R, right? So it's like, not easy. Now, Udyr tries to gank me, but XD, how do you gank, how do you gank LeBlanc, honestly? It's like you can't plot twist. I'm gonna like plot twist it, right? Like you can't. My W is like, no, you cannot gank me. Now, what do we have? Ludens, insane. Now your poke spoke, your Q spoke even harder. And also, your all-ins are super strong right now with the magic pen you get, with the AP, mana, 600 mana, that's insane. I mean, like, she literally dies, She literally dies. I think, what happens in here? I think we just like, pretty much just, beat them. Pretty much, like, he can't do shit. I think he's looking for a roam, because he can't really step up right now to meet the Camille, because again, what happens, she gets bullied under tower, and there she got a neon meal, of course, but it didn't really matter, because at the end of the day, like, I think I will go under tower and kill. I'm not yeah, yes. And in here we push in the wave and get her plates. So this is like a very bad spot for them to be in, right? Sucks to be you, right? And note, I didn't even go static. We see, like, this is no static, no bullshit. LeBlanc, it's full AP. It's full AP because it does one shot. It's like super carry. Her AP ratios got buffed, so there's no reason for you to just like go static. It's not that awful, but I like full AP more, honestly. Like, you have a wave clear, you bully a bit more with your basic attacks, but like, it's not me, man. I don't feel like it, honestly. After nerfs, you should go for static. It just feels like your first item spike doesn't burst that hard in an all-in combo. Then at second item, it feels like your champion falls off. So I don't really like it, People also hate that build, so it's another reason why you shouldn't build it, right? Alright, so in here, it's quite simple what happens. We buy pretty much buy our sword shoes for more burst damage, and in here I miss chain. That's fine. Then what happens, I just like Q poke with Ludens. So it's really important to spare Ludens for Q, so it's even more potent. I W away from her W and E. I mean E, not W, what the fuck. Or dash, if I remember correctly, is E, right? Yeah, her dash is E. Yeah, and the W is the AoE. um, okay, alright, we pick him up. And we got our tower as well, and we got the wave, so we are taking insane advantages now. After that, what happens? They're pretty much getting dumpstered. For Camille, the game is kind of like over. Then in here, what will happen? I will look for some roams. I will look for some plays, of course. Basically, I'm just like playing for my team, and that's what you can do really well with Leblanc, because you can just one-shot people for your team or look them down, right? But you see, like that guy just got absolutely one-shotted. And the Camille can't do much, sadly, right? Like she's so behind. And in here, it's simple. He dies. They just die. They just get picked up, of course. And in here, I was messing it up a bit, I think, but I hit my second chain. It's just she flash abuses, but then we get him anyways. Yes, we do. And then I just recal, honestly, no? Yeah, I think I just recal in here, just get my Magi, I think, or let's see, what do we buy? Do we buy Magi? We buy Magi. Uh-huh. And I'm just looking to pick up I don't know exactly, I don't remember exactly what did I do. This is a older replay. I don't even see the map either, but I think we are going bot lane for now, and we'll see what do we do after. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Obviously, checking my damage is quite high. You see, the guy just gets one-shotted. He almost one-shotted me, but then I was like, I prefer not to be one-shotted, so I just one-shotted him instead. You feel me? That's like the logic you need to have on a Blanc. It's like you should prefer to not be one-shotted. Then this game is just over. This game is just over for top lane, for Udyr, for everyone really. And I think they will FF in a few minutes. I think they will FF in a few minutes. Lucian gets one-shotted. And here I try to kill Yasuo, but he with wall abuses. And in there I got the assist of Lux, right? Got the Magi. That's true. I can agree with myself. Yep, it's GG. So I think that's it for now, guys. I pretty much like showcased. Yes, I pretty much showcased this LeBlanc gameplay, and we'll go to the next champion. Alright, so I already showed you guys how Orianna works. Let's see how does Syndra perform in lane. So again, same thing happens. They don't even get runes into you because they think that there will be an AD champion top lane like Yon. So he's actually fully committing into a rune Yon setup. The issue is he can't even proc PTA on you. Generally speaking, he can't proc PTA on you. So let's get straight up into it. One of these Qs deal over 100 damage with Scorch and Comet combined, so they actually hurt every 7 seconds, right? Okay, let's get the clip running. So right now we can see we are poking as much as possible, right? And so what happens in here is quite simple. Is spacing as much as possible, is trying to last it, but you can punish every single last hit. Now in there I missed a little bit and I walked into his passive. It's not a big deal, you'll do mistakes, but it doesn't really matter so all that much. Except I missed a Q, which was a bit concerning, but don't worry too much about it because he does not have too much sustain with his D-Blade. So this generally speaking should be fine. Again, keep on your pokes as much as and as frequent as possible. It's very simple what happens in here. Pretty much you wanna keep people in lane with your poke. Always cancel their recast, don't allow them to push. So as much as possible try to contest their shove of course. And try to kill them. Now ideally if I would be strong sided this team would be dead. But it's not the end of the world of course. And so what happens in here, he gets poked. He can't even play the game. He can't even last it because he's so stressed out that he's gonna be W'd. But then he gets W'd anyways. That's the funny thing, right? Now in here what happens? He's trying to push, right? Now the issue with that logic is that his push is what? Contested. Because he's getting perma poked. So he can't really step up because the issue is if he steps up to trade with his Q and basic attacks, he gets EQ'd away. So he can't trade into you, and he also gets poked far away from your Q and W, which again he cannot trade into you, which means that some matchups will be really awkward for the enemy champion, not for you. The same thing applies to Queen as well, right? And to many other matchups. In here what happens? He could either hide there and soak XP, or he could recall, right? Either way, this is a good spot for you to be in, right? Because Nunu, this is a perfect spot for Nunu to gank. Now, of course, he's bot side right now, so it doesn't really matter. But I just said it as an example, of course. Now let's move on. We are just CSing, maximizing out CS is very important, of course, on Syndra. Misclick there a little, of course. And when he comes back to lane, what's gonna happen? He's gonna be poked out again. He's gonna be poked out and possibly be doved by me and Nunu. Just because how much poke I have into Teemo. Right? Now watch what happens. Watch what happens, guys. We push. We push and we ward, right? We push and we ward. Very simple playstyle. But right now we want the whole wave to be pushed in. And we want to get a little poke on Teemo. At 1Q at this point of the game does already around 200 damage with Comet and Scorch, and note Comet and Scorch will scale up, same as your Q, and after 40 stacks you will have 2 of these, so this will actually get progressively worse for Teemo, and you also scale better than Teemo, and better for you, even if you don't kill him, right? So it's not a necessity to kill people as Syndra because you scale so insanely well. Now, watch out what happens. You want to stack as many splinters as possible, of course, but sometimes you'll miss because Teemo can be quite mobile with his W, right? And you see, like, one of those deals approximately 200 damage. He tries to trade into me, I E him away, and I get my passive, right? I get the splinter and some mana back, right? So some of the mana is also refounded. Same thing, he gets poked. I step up and he can't trade into me because I'm too long ranged for him. Right? Sadly, I'm too long range. Even my basic attacks are longer than his basic attacks, right? I click... Wow, I hate that interaction, man. I click in here, 550 range, and Teemo has only 500. So even a basic attack range wise, I have more basic attack range, which means arguably I could auto-space him, right? Don't give him PTA, of course. And so in here it gets to be lower and lower. So what does it even mean? It's easier to find lethal damage on Teemo at 6, right? That's what, like, sort of Comet and Scorch helps you with. Because it allows you to, like, push down someone's HP faster. To the point where you can sort of, like, all in them. Now in here I had a misplay. I forced a bit too hard with my WE. And as I said, mistakes will happen. Now what happens in here? Teemo will start to do what? Go in. Ignite. He will ignite and do what? He didn't ignite. He didn't ignite, right? But he ghosted. He did ignite at the end. Now in there I had a bit of a spacing issue. I could then just W him. But this is fine. So remember, as you scale better, it doesn't matter that you 1-for-1. Because the game gonna be even better for you. Because now he has no sums. Right? And he's even more vulnerable to Nunu ganks. While note that his 6 does nothing, because you can buy Oracle, and your 6 does a lot, right? So we are both level 6 at this point. And also, I'm gonna reach my 40 splinters very soon. And another notable thing is that I have a freeze in here and he doesn't. I TP back to lane and he doesn't. So that's already a big victory, because right now this allows Nunu to have a really good gank angle on top lane or Yon. None of them did gank me, but just saying. In case they would just like be around me, of course, right? And in here you should trim, right? I should trim this way faster than I did, of course. Um, just trim, right? So my trimming was a bit slow and a little bit inaccurate, but overall it should be fine, right? Now Timo shows up, I miss my Q, right? And we try to hold the wave as much as possible in my side. Now I pulled it a bit under tower, sadly. But this is still fine, because you can go for extremely good trades on Timo. Saw that. He can't even proc PTA, as I said. And now what happens? He walks inner, he gets also poked by my minions, not only me. That's very awkward for Timo. I miss my Q, doesn't matter, because he can't even punish me for that. Um, Same thing. He gets killed. He gets even eat. Now we can't find lethal damage on him because we don't have ult and a way to gap close, but it's fine because Nunu shows up. As I said, eventually they will show up because Timo is in front of my tower with little to no escapes. So in here he just gets Nunu snowballed and he dies. I just allow Nunu to take the kill, of course, and I just pick up the minion wave, which is again great for me. Now, arguably, I could then also just allow it to be on my side the wave, but in here I just played for push and item advantage. The reasoning behind of that is kind of simple. If I push these waves, I get an extra item, most likely. And also note that I can play for plates, because Timo can't contest me taking his plates. And also I can play for later Heralds as well. Herald is also coming. So it's not really the most ideal to freeze right now when Herald and plate opportunities are there, you know, like you have just better opportunities to carry the game. So I wouldn't really just like aim to like leave the wave as it is. I kinda miss there, I kinda miss the cannon. So you see, like, you don't even have to play perfectly. That's what I've been telling people. Like, if you play these major stops, like, you don't always have to like play perfectly to be useful, right? Okay, game goes on, right? Let's move on. Now in here, Timo, what happens on top lane every time? So with such a high frequency, people do this. They are tilted, tired. They hate top lane. I can't tap for some reason in this replay. And so they roam and they leave top lane forever. They do this very cringe thing where they int, then they just go to a different lane, hopefully that they will rotate top lane or something. And now I get free plates. Now I can't follow Timo up, I don't know what was that random roam. It even sort of worked out, I think. I think he got one kill for the team. One kill, right? But that's not a big deal, because that roam was kinda bad. Because I've been taking in here multiple minions and plates, which is not really recoverable by Timo anymore. Well, also I push down the tower's HP, which means at the end of the day, it will be way easier to herald it, right? Okay, now let's move on. Okay. Now what happens, as I said, we are devouring. I had Oracle. So as soon as I got my Oracle and I got my items, Timo just like walked away. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna face this guy. Now the issue is he can't really face Yon either right now. He's dead behind. But also Nunu could more easily gank him on mid lane as well. Because he's more so around the both side area, as you guys noticed. Now, alright Gaby, what happens in here? The other strength of Syndra is that she has not only decent damage, but also a good gank setup with her EQ plus a slow, right? So what will happen very soon is that this Twisted Fate gets dived. So mainly with CS, you know, we are getting Herald, whatever. And we can also Herald top lane, of course, really soon. And so what happens in here, I hit my EQ, right? Very simple. Nunu connects his snowball. And in here I hit the Q, of course. And an ultimate. And Nunu steals it, but it's fine, you know, like at the end of the day, if we win the game, it should be fine. Outro, Syndra, it's very good to have kills though, that's all I'm gonna say. Outro, if you think about it, Nunu has also like very high AP ratios, right? So it's like not the end of the world if he gets kills, right? Because he got actually very high AP ratios overall, so bonus AP from his Dark Seal, from his items that he can buy is really nice on him as well, so I don't hate it, he can snowball, right? And in here we take a whole tower. That's insane. That's insane, right? I cannot tab. The game doesn't let me tab. A game just decided to not allow me to tap. But in here what happened is basically I got Sork shoes and also Ludens, which is a very big spike, and I'm also closing up to 11, which is another big spike. Now in here what happens is very simple. I rotated away from top lane because I'm more prone to ganks. While also note that I'm fighting Timo again. Again, I'm mid lane. Timo, I don't know, Timo just cannot do much at this point. One time I could ban ult him, but I was a bit unsure if I can because he had the null magic mantle. I should ban. But again, like as I said, like even if you don't know how to play too well these champions, you will still succeed. Because some of them I was just genuinely first timing, you know. Like generally I don't play them on top lane, and I played them like few games in the past, long time ago mid lane, right? So I kind of like knew how to play them, but like not insanely, right? And you guys can see, like, Timo just cannot play the game. Like, you hate Timo, you pick Syndra, right? And in there I messed it up a little bit because he walked away, and in here I could ban ult him, I think. There was one scenario where I could ban ult him. I walk away because people pinged injure, I could be collapsed on by Alistar or someone. But there was like one time I could ban probably ult him, but I didn't like decided to ult. It was in here, right? It was exactly... Not yet, we're not there yet. I think there will be one situation, I think, where that will happen. Because I think it's in here. It will be in here. So in here I could ban ult him. But again, I didn't know the complete limitation of Syndra. So in there I could ban ult him actually. In there I would probably kill him with my ultimate. It didn't quite click with me, right? But I should ban actually. And I think I had like another opportunity even in here or something. But again, like this game was again a very simple carry. FF at 15. I mean, this is not much to say. They just FF at 15 actually. I TP it back and TFF at 15, right? Let's go to the next game. Let's see Lux. Now let's jump to the next champion. Lux, why would you pick Lux? Now Lux has generally more damage early on than an Orianna, for example, and you're also longer range. While note your shield is also bigger and your passive does overall more damage, right? In short trades. Now, one notable feature of Lux is also her very good wave clear as well. So let's get straight up into it. That's an insane poke, right? That's quite a lot of damage. That's quite a lot of damage already. Okay. As much as possible, of course, stay between minions into his Q. It will take reduced damage, and also just aim to punish as much as possible. You see, like, his Q doesn't even hurt as hard as your E, so even if he Q trades into you, that should be fine. Push for your level 2 and then all in, right? Very simple, always push for your level 2. Your level 2 all in is quite oppressive because you slow and root people. You should always predict a little with your Q, like this. You guys will see, there will be a prediction in here, I think, soon. If it's here, if I'm correct. I think I wasn't really committing too deeply because I was like, I gotta get ganked by Eve if I'm too cocky, so I wanna avoid that awkward situation. I think soon there will be some nice Q prediction, I assume. We'll see, but for now you should just poke. Just punish last hits mainly, right? Which I did mess up a little bit in here because he walked forwards, which was a bit surprising for me. But he walked forwards and he still got caught, right? Now he has W in here, but remember, he has no passive stacks. And if he has no passive stacks, his W does this amount of damage, right? No insta PT and no triple basic attack, right? So you can actually walk up and look for a basic attack trade, which I couldn't connect. That's fine. I will hold into my Q because you don't exactly see where he's walking inside of the bush. And now, no, look what am I doing? I placed 2 points in my E, so I have even more poke because soon I want to dive him and I don't want to maximize out my shields because he can't even get close to use his W, right? So that's what you want to do, you want to maximize out your damage in matchups where they can't even get close. You guys saw the little prediction, right? Now, your E, don't instantly E. You want to E when they are at the edge of your E. The reason behind that is very simple. So the slow field lasts longer and you can swing in more basic attacks. right? And in here, sadly, even if I flash basic, he just wouldn't die, but it forces him to recall without TP on a gigantic wave, which is already a very big victory, guys. I think he will recall if he's not too greedy, if I remember correctly, but he can be greedy. Can be that people are greedy. Can happen. I mean, arguably I could invade Eve, or just try to dive this guy. My choice was just like trying to force some type of dive, I think. As you can see, his HP is getting chipped down quite nicely. And so, like, even if he doesn't last hits the minions, that's perfect. He soaks the XP, that's fine. But if he doesn't last hits them, which he can, because he only has like a Q that he could arguably last it with, right? If he gives up his E, he's just dead. I missed my Q, which is a bit unfortunate. You won't hit all of them, of course, so. And even in here, it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal if you E, because you can throw out an E just to zone people off CS, so he can't actually last it, right? He can't actually last it properly. You see that? You step up, you zone again. And in there I missed, right? Now let's keep pushing the wave, of course. Now in there I wasn't worried because he's too low to kill my Briar, so I wasn't really like worried. Oh my god, you're gonna kill him or something. So I'm just pushing my wave, and it's quite simple. I'm looking to force something into him, right? Also, a notable trick against Pantheon: when you ult, you can flash behind him, and it means that your ult will deal damage. In there I missed my E, I hit my Q. I shouldn't basic attack there. It was a bit of a mistake. I should ban basic attack after his E, not before. So actually I get off my passive, which actually does 67 damage, more than my basic attack. So it's actually important for you to actually just like Q in 10 basic attack after his E, which is a bit of a mistake on my part. So he can like soaks that, right? He soaks your passive. A little bit of fake knowledge and mechanic it takes definitely to play Lux, right? Now in here, what the hell happens? I E under myself, right? In there I inted a little bit. I should ban actually just flash through him and basic attack him. That was a bit of an int as well, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day he will die. It's just like I inted a little bit, right? Like in there. I eat myself, so I predicted his W, right? I eat under myself here, right? It just, the mess up was really that I didn't basic attack flash through him, right? Or just flash through him and basic attack doesn't matter, right? Like in here, right? We see. We see he gonna E. Or I could ban basic, yeah. Just a simple flash play, right? Now it's not the end of the world, of course, because he... not really end of the world, because he's just gonna, of course, die. Like, he's still gonna die. It's just like the whole thing could be much more smoother if you guys get my point, right? So twice I didn't really play properly into his E. Now in here I know that he has no flash ignite anymore, so it doesn't really matter. I hit a Q on him, he hits a Q on me, it doesn't matter if he dies. That's just perfect now. Why am I overstaying? He has a freeze on his side, so what I'm doing, I'm gonna be 6 very soon. And Eve has no top side camps right now, so my point is very simple right now. If I hit 6 I can ult the wave, and I can go for a very smooth recall, just watch. But what I can also do is just greed and have a bit of a slow recall, but I eat the wave, right? So it's really up to you. Now my ult has a short cooldown, but by the time I arrive in lane it will still have a cooldown. So I was like greeding on it. And Pantheon notably, like this is a bit harder than a Garen or this type of matchups like Darius and whatnot, right? So this is a bit harder because he has actually a gap close. So actually you got to kind of like space him a little bit, Pantheon, right? But generally speaking, Teemo and this type of matchups, like Teemo and Queen are super PC easy, right? So, generally speaking, they shouldn't be too hard. And let's see what happens in here. This Pantheon got pretty much farmed as I remember. He died like so many times, it's unreal. I think in here the lane mostly went quite passively. Unless Briar got some kills, no, it just went passively. Now in here it's very simple what happened. We are just poking as much as possible. Like his page we went like perma poke down. Like it's not even playable for him as well, you know. It's kind of like the other matchup I played with Syndra. They can't play into you because you outrange them, and not only you outrange them, your abilities also apply some form of root or slow, which means they can't gap close after you throw them, right? So it's very awkward for even champions that have some target actions like Pantheon to play into you, because even if he ults in, you can Q him, then look for an E, and basically can gap close, right? Even with ult. You can see that he's looking for a recall right now, but usually people are, when they are recalling, they are shopping. So that's what you can actually punish with your ult. I can see him recalling. I walk in a bush. I don't walk away. I notice that he's trying to recall, and I'm looking for an ult, because at this point, in the last second, you should ult people, because usually at that point they're already looking at the shop, which at the end of the day will mean that they're gonna get sniped and they die. This happens even in Master Plus. It just happens. They look at the shop, trust me. In the last seconds, they won't really press their E, usually. Now, what happens in here? Very simple. I just pretty much back off, get my items. I'm even stronger, of course. I'm rushing my Luden's Echo as fast as possible. And again, I didn't show you guys my runes yet, but they're straight up. No phase rush needed, of course. Sometimes you need a phase rush. These are just turbo poking oriented runes, Probably I shouldn't go Ghost Poro and Eyeball Collection instead, of course. But let's move on. Missing some skill shots in here and there, hitting some skill shots, right? I think I missed a little bit my E though. I missed a little bit my E there. Right, and in here I missed my R, but it doesn't really matter because he had E, right? That wasn't really like well played by me to do that. And in here what happens is just quite simple. I'm recalling and he gets caught. And he has E. So I could ban a little bit mind game it. I could ban hold into my E as well. So in there I think Pantheon is looking pretty much for the plant and I'm looking to snipe him. I think I don't manage to snipe him. I just slightly mismanaged to snipe him, which kinda sucked. But it doesn't really matter right now because we know his E cooldown. How many seconds? 20 seconds, right? Now 20 seconds didn't pass yet. Did it pass? It didn't pass 20 seconds yet, right? So into some specific matchups like Pantheon, you got to count those 20 seconds. Note they usually max W second, not E. So until they don't get any amount of cooldown, this will be always 20 seconds, right? So that's something very important, matchup specifically, to know it exactly. But the only issue was that I had no ult, right? Like, you can all in, but I had no ult. And now, again, like, his E was on cooldown, of course, now we 100%. Like, he used it like few seconds before, right? So it's like, he just a 100% all in for us. We get the kill, of course. Then what happens after is just quite simple. I get the wave, Eve could be possibly around, that's why I just back off after shoving. You don't have to throw our lead away, we get Ludens, insane. Now it's not the game is not even playable for Pantheon, but what do I do after? I TP it down, because there is a play opportunity in here, I do believe. We kinda like try to force something, but in here Eve had no ult. So I had nothing on me. I had nothing on me but my ult. And Eve did have ult? Oh my bad. Eve did have ult, but he just gets one-shotted. He just gets one-shotted. And the terrorizing begins, right? So right now you kinda like play similarly to Zoe. I'm kinda looking for a snipe on Orianna, but she's not brave enough to step up, that's fine. And in here I managed to catch him off guard. But she flash abuses. And let's move on. I eventually snipe her, whatever, let's move on from this. And so where do I go? Now Briar already took my top side, so I'm looking for place. Because if your team is already ahead, you're looking for dives, you're looking for place. You don't want to sit on top forever for no reason. You're looking for place mainly, right? Now arguably I could sit top lane as well, right? Because I'm beating Pantheon, he can't even see us under tower, I get this tower. But we can look for better opportunities than just simply, just simply like stay on top lane. And in there I misangled my ult a bit, but we got the kill anyways. In here, it's quite simple what happens. Tristana, I think Tristana didn't basic attack there once. I think she got caught a little bit, I thought Tristana will pick up the kill. That's why I didn't even step up. But apparently she got caught. That's fine. And yeah, right now we are just pretty much wishing for kills. It's very simple. It's just very simple. Very simple. She stuns, I ult in. So usually you should follow up a stun with your ultimate almost. Nothing to say honestly, he just gets caught. But in there we learned out of our mistakes. So in there we can see that we can learn now. we did learn now. we did learn out of our mistake, of course. So we queued in, we eat in, but we didn't insta step E, right? We waited until Z expires, right? Otherwise this wouldn't kill, right? And then what happens is quite simple. He dies to my E. Now, of course, Vladimir couldn't protobel kill him, but we want to KS that. And also, like, this is a notable trick that you should master. Or just sometimes it's very important. It's very wise for you to just hold into that ability, right? Now in here, the game is just pretty much a stomp. And when I say it's a stomp, it's just a stomp. We're gonna get kills here and there, and basically we're gonna get every objectives, but there's not much to say, because there will be some snipes here and there, we get some skills here and there, but the game is just basically over. In there I missed my Q, but I still one shot her, so it doesn't even matter. Um, and so basically there will be like one more big team fight, let me show you guys, but there's not too much to say, because at this point they just pretty much got dumpstered and they didn't choose the FF, because can win mentality, right? Now in here I'm sieging the both side of the map, right? Because I'm not really particularly scared of anyone, and I can dive anyone that shows up, right? So we're super super ahead, right? Skip forward, we will have 20 Magi, right? Missed Q, that's fine, hit C. Now I know that he will jump in, right? And that's why I insta Q. My Q lasts 2 seconds and his stun only lasts 1 second, which means I have enough space to actually hit my E after my Q, right? Right? And he gets wiped. He gets wiped. I will the wave, so I push in the wave faster. Don't worry guys, it has literally no cooldown. And also, like, they are all dead, but in here Vladimir pinged me. I was like, oh shit, mid is open. I rotated mid and we just ended the game. Alright, that's it for now with the Lux gameplay. If I can find any Swain footage, of course, or Leblanc, I will show you guys very soon. So in here I found one actually Swain gameplay of myself. I pretty much like played into Orn, not a too hard matchup. Conger is super good into him, especially in extended fights. And as you guys can see, you can CS quite a lot with your Q at the same time you can last it. That's just perfect. Uh, he missed a little bit there, of course. It's quite simple what's happening in here. We're just CSing, we're just scaling, and we're aiming to punish as much as possible. So in there I cancelled a little bit of a basic, and in here I shouldn't pull because he gets the brittle on me. But it's okayish because he loses quite a lot of HP, and I managed to maintain my conqueror at most. No, I didn't. But our short trades are quite decent as well, because remember we are also gaining HP out of Orn because of our passive, right? Now let's move on to level 3. Now level 3 is quite simple. You wanna ward, you're vulnerable to ganks, of course. And in here what I'm doing is just simple. I'm poking as much as possible, CSing as much as possible. Now this laning phase is not way too interesting. You're gonna dominate it. Pretty much you can even kill Ornn if you get to. It's just really all about like knowing your limits and what you can do and what you can't do. In here I'm also pulling him, of course. I'm watching out for his E. Sadly he got to level up, he got a bunch of HP out of that, he's using his biscuits. I can't force quite an all-in, but at least the wave is nicely on my side. But I'm watching out in case he's collapsing on me. And in here I'm just trimming the wave a little bit, of course, right? Very simple. Now in here, punish again, poke, punish, poke, punish. Um, One is quite beefy though, it takes quite a lot of punches. But at least like you're milking HP out of him, right? So even throw, let's say like per moment, I don't really kill him, you're still milking him, which is nice. Now, I think in here not much will happen. I think at some point I will get a kill. Was it in here? Not yet, I think. Not quite yet. We are both low, but we can't find lethal damage on each other. So soon we will be 6, I assume. Soon we will be 6. At this point it gets a bit risky because you gotta hit 6 faster than he does, otherwise it's gonna get awkward, right? And once you hit 6, you wanna kinda like just all in him with your ult. But in here I was a bit inconfident because I felt like the enemy jungler could be possibly on me, so I was just backing off a teensy bit before I get caught. He wasn't really anywhere else, and we had heavy visual on both sides, right? So I was like, ah boy, even though we are 6, we can't really force an all in. I wanted to get level 6 before he does and all in him, but no. And sadly the W didn't even deal enough damage to kill the minion, right? It just didn't even deal enough damage. That's fine, because right now we're just aiming to scale up. So oddly enough, you gotta get Merc Threads into Ornn, otherwise he kills you. So Merc Threads are GOAT dead in this matchup. Uh, Basically, they give you speed, tenacity, MR. All of them are great into Ornn. So that's what you need to get. First of all, you're getting like you really got to know your matchups, your runes, right? So that's the thing about mages on top lane. It has to do with like your matchup knowledge as well, right? Um, right. So let's move on to the. Is something happening here? I'm not sure because this is not my. This is like an older video of mine, like a few days ago, not that old actually. I'm not even sure like what will happen in here. That's the thing. I was like looking like, do we all in him? Do we not? Like, what do we do here? And we just kinda all in him. We kinda do. It's just here I'm spacing him. I think I'm ulting. Am I ulting? I think I didn't ult in here, huh? I was kinda like questioning myself if you do even have enough damage, right? Mm-hmm. I was even asking myself here. So right now, it's very simple what we do. Push the wave, aim to dive if it's even possible. And just cancel his building, right? Like he can build items. Echo even tried to like go in there. Now I felt like Echo could be possibly here. But it's not a big deal because we can fight him anyway, so like he cannot harm us. It's kind of hard for him to actually even gank us, right? Even left the ward at Herald in case he flips it. Um, and now it's quite simple. I'm just basically waiting for Ornn to step up, all in him perhaps, or either just aim to kill the Echo at Herald. Now my choice was like, just, we're gonna push. We're gonna push because we have Merc Threads, we can handle Echo. And we can handle Ornn, but in here I decided to, I think pretty much I was like pretty much I think I wanna all in him. We didn't end up well because we didn't have enough damage. I think he brought the MR, right? And then I walked up for the Echo, but then he just like decided to not do the Herald anymore. Plain and simple, your gameplay cancel recall with W, Q, E, whatever, and play for plates, right? Now Echo was a bit around, but I think River was warded, so I was a bit confident that maybe he's more likely to be mid lane, you know? That was my thought process, so I was like, maybe he won't be here, right? Same thing, push the wave, look for a recall, or either, I was even telling Jarvan come top lane. I think I was begging Jarvan to come top lane non-stop. He didn't come top lane. It doesn't matter if it's just a last hit for him. He was not willing to come top lane. That was pissing me off this game, right? I was all the time begging him. So in here it was kind of the coin flip of whose jungler is coming first. But Echo was also both side, right? Herald was also up, by the way, after the top lane, no? So it's easy to sort of go for the Herald, right? Now I think there will be a very close fight, I think. No? There will be some type of very close fight very soon. I TP back, right? I TP'd on the minion. Now what happens in here, I have the speed from the TP, I have boots and all that, and I have ghost up. Now if I hit a knee in here, it should be an easy all-in because he's low. It's really important for with Swain. You're gonna play ghost, and it's really important to know your all-in angle, your ult slows, your W slows. So it's really important to know when you can actually go in. And this is one of those cases where it's just plain and simple, you should just ult in, right? I'm ghosting, of course. I'm even dodging his ult just, just so I take less damage and I finish him off with Q, right? So we can see early on he doesn't have much fun on. Then, then later on when you have Leandry, you become even more annoying, right? Again, plain and simple, we are pushing the wave, getting plates or rotating for Herald. I don't remember what did I do exactly in this video. So let's see what are we doing. We're actually playing for plates, and because I was like Jarvan can solo do it probably, I missed my combo. I think I didn't time it well to his TP. This is something definitely you should learn as Swain, to time your EW correctly to tip. Now indeed I was like we should be winning these. It just Tristana showed up, we disengage, whatever, that's fine. I still got a trade on them, and I got a trade on Tristana, which is really important because it's easier for Kassadin to die for. Right? It's easier for Kassadin to die for because if he swings in some Qs, stacks up his ult, it's very easy for him to dive him. So this poke doesn't look like it's much, but it matters a lot, So, okay, let's move on. We're going back to top lane. We're moving on from mid lane. I think in here, what will we do? Do we kill him? Do we not kill him? I think we just CS at most. I think at most we will just CS. And there will be like one all-in very soon, huh? One all-in. Yeah, dodge it of course, and then he knocks me up. So what happens after? Let's just see. Oh, I pulled him out of my W. That was a bit of a misplay, right? Now in here we get TP done, right? But we get TP done by our Kassadin, not by the enemy team, right? We pick up the Orn, easy peasy. He picks up the Echo, right? And yeah, I mean this game is just not difficult. Like you guys can see, the laning phase is plain and simple. It's gonna get Merc threads, of course, into Orn, very important, but the laning phase is not hard. And after 6 you can look for proper all-ins, of course. And here I rotate for Drake because I think my mid tower was gone. So basically I was like, dumb fuck, my brain farted. I mean, my top tower was gone, Kassadin took it, so I'm gonna rotate mid. Then I basically gonna rotate to Drake after mid, or just like go for a play. I was just poking a little bit at Tristana, pushing the mid wave, of course. Not sure if Kassadin had TP or not, he came mid lane as well. And I'm basically just rotating back to top lane because at this point I was confident that if Jarvan kills the bot lane, then we can do Drake alone. But this Drake should be most likely secured by my team anyways. I think I was looking for really quick the next wave, because the thing is, like, at this point of the game you really need your Leandry, otherwise it doesn't feel like you deal much damage. But note, in some matchups you need to rush Zanye, right? So it really depends on your matchup you're currently facing. Got my Zanye, I mean Leandry into Dark Seal, because you're gonna get some kills, of course, in and there. Then we're gonna get, I'm not sure what did I get. Did I get Zanye next? We'll see. This was like an older, like Swain play, right? So not quite sure, not quite sure. Here I think I just basically die. I just die. Let's look at some other kills as well that I managed to accomplish as Swain. Not much will happen. Maybe in here there will be a fight or some. There will be a very good fight, but because we are way above ward and we have stopwatch, with stopwatch you should be very confident to fight with your ult. Because watch, I know Ornn has ult, but you can also like cancel it with CC. Now, or of course Brown can also like either ult or eat, right? We have a lot of CC, so I'm confident to fight into them. And I'm also like way above Ornn, just saying, right? So I think I ult in, and they decide to fight. Now the thing is they can't fight. See, like you become this absolute monster. If you're doing super well in lane, you can sort of become this absolute like team fight monster, but you need stopwatch as well or Zanye. Otherwise sometimes you just get ass whooped, of course, but your point is just to be this absolute monstrosity of a champion, right? In here, simple, we pick up, we picked up 4 kills, pick up the mid tower, of course, plain and simple. Uh, then basically, I'm just like recalling for Zanye, but I noticed I don't have enough money. It's fine. What I'm doing next is just quite simple. Um, basically just aiming to like CS for the Zanye, because Zanye is bread and butter. Like it's just such an important thing for you as on Swain, right? That's your like it's like the most second itemable item into the game, right? It's just so important. It's unreal on Swain to have it. Super good item. Um, okay, so what happened in here? I think we got a Baron, then eventually I got my Sonye, then there will be like a one more good fight, I think, on both sides. Before this ends, right? Or did the FF? We may ended up in an FF. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, we will think there will be one more good team fight, and I think it's just basically GG. Basically GG. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a GG. We got 10 assists though, so we weren't like super carry because we got like 10 assists, but it's fine because if your team is winning, they're winning, so it's not a big deal. It's fine. Let's move on to the Leblanc gameplay as well, of course.